Hi, Kathy here, and I am here to talk about things that I loved in Germany or things that I noticed in Germany that were different from America. So, one of the things I noticed was 220-volt outlets. We had to use a converter, which is a little gray box about this big, that you plug the 220 plug into the converter and into the wall, and then you plug your 110 equipment into the box. Uh, and that was pretty interesting. Let's see. Another thing is the Autobahn. I loved the Autobahn. Now, keep in mind, all this stuff is all stuff I noticed about 30 years ago. So if anything's outdated, please let me know. But I'm just going by what I noticed. The Autobahn was pretty awesome. There's no speed limit on the Autobahn. Unless you get into an area that's congested, then it might come down to 100 kilometers per hour, which is like, I don't know, 60 miles per hour or something like that. But it was pretty fun. I wish I could have had a faster car. I had a Volvo at the time, but it was still fun to drive. Another thing I loved was Ritter Sport Bars. Ritter Sport Bars. They're chocolate bars about this big, and they're square, and they're broken into 16 smaller pieces that you can break apart. And they're so good, especially marzipan and Alpenmilch. Oh, they're so good. Another thing I loved in Germany was Weisswurst. Weisswurst is a sausage made from brain matter, but don't let that fool you because it actually tastes really good, especially with hot mustard. Another thing I loved was Berliners, which is a jelly-filled donut. It was so good, and I used to have them every morning before when I went down to the train station. I'd stop in at a bakery and pick up a Berliner. Another thing I loved about Germany is they have an excellent public transportation system. It's way better than anything in the States. I mean, in fact, in the States, the only time they ever have anything comparable to Europe for a transportation system is maybe in New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, San Francisco, and lately Seattle's gotten some light rail, and so they're getting a little better, but nothing even comes close really to comparing to the British or the German public transportation system. Yeah, because they have buses, they have Straßenbahn. Straßenbahn is the small train that runs down the middle of the street. You can see tracks that run down the middle of the street. That's for the Straßenbahn. The S-Bahn, which is a subway, but it's not really a subway because it's light rail. It's just light rail. It runs on the top of the surface of the ground, and it goes out. It starts from the center of the city and radiates out to all the suburbs of the city, and so you can pretty much go to any town you want. And that's the S-Bahn. The U-Bahn is the subway that's closer to the city center. It goes actually underground. That's the U-Bahn. They have the Intercity Zug, which is a train that goes between cities. So if you want to go from Munich to Berlin or Bonn or whatever German city, you take the Intercity Zug. It's all within the country of Germany, different cities within the country of Germany. Well, the Intercity Zug is the best way to go, and it's also pretty inexpensive. You can get good deals with tickets there. There's also the Bundesbahn, which is the German train system that runs between countries. So if you want to go to a different country, you can hop on the Bundesbahn. Okay, so another thing I loved. Oh, also I wanted to mention with public transportation, don't be a Schwarzfahrer. I did that once and I got fined for it. A Schwarzfahrer is somebody who rides the public transportation without a ticket. And yes, I got fined, so don't do that. Another thing I loved about Germany is Spätzle. It's butter noodles, and they're homemade noodles, and they're so good. And I just never see them in the States anywhere. You pretty much have to go to a German restaurant, which are really hard to find, to get Spätzle. Another thing I loved was Kirschwein and Pflaumenwein. That's cherry wine and plum wine. Those are both delicious. I had some cherry wine. I bought some in Switzerland, actually, and it was very tasty. Pflaumenwein is often served at Chinese restaurants in Germany, and it's very tasty as well. They always serve it with their food. Let's see. Another thing I like, because I lived in Schwäbisch Gmünd at the time for about 2.5 years, and I was fascinated by things I saw on billboards. And I saw these two cartoon characters on a billboard, and they were called Äffle und Pferdle, which means like monkey and horse. A little monkey, little horse. I don't know. It's the Schwäbisch dialect for monkey and horse. Äffle und Pferdle. And I'm not even sure what they advertised for, but they were the kind of cute little cartoon characters. Also, another thing I noticed in Germany was Fasching. Because I had the opportunity, I was on the S-Bahn when around springtime, probably about this time of the year, and I saw a whole bunch of people in costume, in really weird costumes, getting on the S-Bahn. And they told me it was Fasching. And I guess Fasching is German Mardi Gras or something. So that was kind of cool. It was kind of funny to see all these people in costume. Let's see. Another thing I like is the public swimming pool. It's called a Schwimmbad. And when you go into a Schwimmbad, you pay by going through a turnstile, and you have this unattended machine that spits out a ticket for you to get in. It's kind of like a subway entrance. And so that was a little different from what we have in the States. We have public swimming pools, but they're not controlled like that. Another thing is ouzo, which is a Greek liquor. It tastes like black licorice, and it will knock you on your butt. But it's very popular, especially among the military in Germany. And also, one thing I noticed in southern Germany, especially in the Schwäbisch Gmünd area, you smell a lot of pig poop in the air. That's all you can smell this time of year, or actually in the fall. If you go there in the fall, that's all you're going to smell, because they spread the manure on the fields, and it's just it's nothing but pig poop is all you can smell in the air. But another thing I noticed was, at least 30 years ago, this was unusual in America. I mean, it's becoming more popular in America now, but back then I'd never heard of it before. It's having TV commercials in movies. When you go to the movie theater, they would play a bunch of commercials before the movie. Instead in our movies, we have some commercials, but for the most part, it's trailers for upcoming movies. But in Germany, it was just regular TV commercials, like Mountain Dew or something. That was something different I noticed. In fact, I specifically remembered a Pizza Hut commercial, and it said Pizza Hut, and I'm like, okay, that was really old. And there were some other strange commercials too. Let's see. But yeah, those are pretty much the 15 items that I noticed about Germany. I really like Germany. I wish I could go back someday. It's a beautiful country. I really loved being there. I would love to visit it again someday. But yeah, most of these things I really loved. So, Germany, hope to see you again someday. And this is Kathy signing off. You have a good day. Take care. Enjoy your videos. Bye-bye.